All right. Hello, hello, guys. Looks like we are live. Looks like everything is up and running. As you can see, this is a little bit different setting than our usual live streams. I'm not in my office/edit suite, and I'm not down in my studio. I am outside today in my backyard, and that's because we are today smoking a turkey back there for my annual Friendsgiving, where all my friends get together and we have our own turkey dinner, because obviously next week we'll all be with our families, so we want to do something together. I've been smoking the turkey. I believe this is my third year doing it. I did it once and I kind of was obligated to then do it every year, which I don't mind at all. I love using the smoker. I love smoking meats, and we got a big old bird on there right now. But today is also our second annual Filmmaking BBQ&A. So I started doing this last year. Sorry guys, I'm just watching my audio levels a little bit, bringing it down. I started this last year because of course our Friendsgiving fell on a Saturday, and I've started doing Saturday live shows at 1 p.m. So you know, it coincided, so I figured, you know what, why don't I smoke the turkey, because it requires very little effort, you know, just checking on the fire a little bit, but also hang out with you guys live and answer any questions about anything, filmmaking, cameras, tips and tricks. Last year we even talked about like life goals and stuff. I'll put a link down in the description, guys, to last year's show if you want to hang out and see last year. But now we've bought a house, we have this awesome backyard, still got the same smoker going, and we've got a turkey on there right now. I started at about 10:30 this morning, so she's been on there for a little bit. But as we can see here, guys, we are live, and the benefit of live is that you guys get to hang out and chat with me, because otherwise how would you ask me questions and I would answer them? So let me see here. I've moved my whole setup outside here, so it's been a little tricky, but let's see here. We have our live chat, and of course the live chat first pops up gigantic. I don't know what's going on with OBS, but I did figure out how to fix it real quick. There it goes, I think. Did we just lose our chat? Well, that would be bad. Let me see here. Sorry guys, bear with me, just doing a little bit of maintenance. Where is my chat window? Of course, when you move your setup like this, of course you're gonna have some complications. I've got some extension cords and all sorts of stuff. I'm rocking the GH5 over here, guys. Got it set up outside. Let's pop this in. I can see the chat. I just want to make it so that you guys can see the chat. Okay, well there we go. My chat test signal did pop up. So not sure why the original one did not, but over here, guys, we will have the chat live coming on the screen there. So if you guys pop in and are hanging out, it would be awesome. Just hang out and chat, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to watch the turkey, make sure that my temperature stays right where I want it. I'll talk to you some about what I'm doing with the turkey and what I've done to it so far. But if you guys have any questions about anything along the way, we're basically just kind of free form hanging out today. So no specific topics in mind or anything like that, but we're just going to be hanging out and chilling. So I see we have some people in here. Sorry guys, I know this chat is going to be a little hard to see over the background here of the sky and whatnot, but you know, I had to make do with what I got going on here. Let's see here. Simon, good to see you, man. Yeah, we were just chatting in Texan. Says drinking beer isn't maintenance. Well, actually, I have switched over to iced tea now. Simon is, of course, referring to the breakfast stout that I was enjoying earlier. Yeah, you know, YouTube gets a little funny with drinking alcohol live and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to put the beer away for now, and I promise you this is just iced tea. I love iced tea just as much, and plus it's going to be a really long day today, leading all the way up to dinner tonight, so I can't be drinking beer all day. I got to make it, I got to be able to eat the turkey as well, you know. So let's see here, we got new legend pictures in here. I believe that's my, my buddy Aaron. Says, yo, good to see you too, buddy. I am just gonna quick check on my turkey. Yep, there we go. All right, so we have the chat up and running. The camera seems to be exposed properly. and sort of in focus, and we've established that I'm drinking iced tea. So let me give you guys a little bit of a rundown as to what we've got going on with the turkey back there behind me. So any of you guys who know me know that my other passion besides filmmaking is barbecue, and I love slow smoking stuff. It is the greatest. I think the more patience you put into you know, the product, that the better it is, and slow smoking is just the way to go in my opinion. So I have this smoker back here that I've had for some years. I actually have another one too. Here, I'll get up out of the way so we can see it. I also have this guy right here, which is a ceramic smoker, but unfortunately this guy wasn't big enough for the bird that I have on this guy, because we are currently smoking an 18 3/4 pound turkey on there. We picked it up fresh just the other day from a farm, a turkey farm here in Maryland, just up the road. So as fresh as you can get it, guys. Never frozen, of course. I brined it for a few days, actually just over 24 hours, make my own brine, all that kind of stuff, made my own injection, I make my own rub, did all of that, and then got this bird onto the smoker. We're cooking with lump charcoal and some hickory wood. Like I said, it went on there at about 10:30 this morning, so she's been simmering away and doing her thing, and I might let you guys have a peek at it. But one thing that's really cool, I don't know if you guys can see this. Well, that doesn't help, does it? Nope, it won't be able to expose it because I've got an ND filter on there. Well, anyway, I have an app, guys, because I have this device called the iGrill. It's sitting right there. So it's a little Bluetooth thermometer thing, and I have 3 thermometers plugged into it. One in the white meat, one in the dark meat, and one is just an ambient temperature. And so I'm able to monitor all of those via Bluetooth here on my phone, anywhere I go in the house. And it's beeping and letting me know that I'm back within my range. So I'm cooking this turkey at about between 275 and 300 is where I'm trying to keep it. This smoker isn't the greatest at keeping heat, so I will have to babysit it a bit and keep up with it and whatnot. But I've been pretty good at keeping it in that range. We're at 276 right now. We have our white meat is at 133 degrees and our dark meat is at 138 degrees. And I'm taking them both to 170 before I pull it off, wrap it up, and get it over to my friend's house. Yep, this thing will keep beeping at me as it fluctuates a little bit. So cool. Aaron says, can we have a taste? You know, I wish that I could share it with all you guys. You know, up here in Maryland, if you can get up here, you know, come on, hurry up. Even though it's the biggest bird we've ever done at 18 3/4, I think we did 3 years ago, or so 2 years ago, we did a 14-pound turkey. And then we did a 16-pounder last year, and now we're up to 18 3/4. So I know this thing's gonna take a while. Got a plane going overhead. Like I said, it's been on there since 10:30, so we're looking at, what are we looking at, 2.5 hours roughly it's been on there right now. And I expect it to go for probably about another 2 hours until about 3 o'clock, and then it should be done. So, but yeah, just managing the fire and doing whatever. I know you guys saw earlier my, my husky puppy, Indy. He's been out here with me all day. He's 8 months, and he has never experienced cold weather like this. And so he has been out here all day just lounging and is absolutely loving it. So he's just been putting around. I know you guys just saw him a little bit ago in the background. Right now he's on the other side of the yard chilling in the shade as if it wasn't cold enough out here. Indy, what are you doing? Do you want to come over and say hi? No, he just does his own thing. He doesn't listen at all when he's out here. And I'll give you guys a peek in a minute at the yard and everything, the shed that I built. This is our new house that we've been absolutely loving. And so, yeah, I'm gonna keep track of my my smoker. We're getting a little bit low, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna open up an air vent. Bear with me, guys, real quick. Baron Collins Hill, I see you, and what am I streaming with today? I'll answer that as soon as I come back. I'm just gonna open up an air vent and get a little bit more air to my fire. 2 seconds. This is gonna happen quite a bit today, guys, as I pop back and forth. It's been pretty stable I haven't had to make any like crisis adjustments or anything like that, but just a little tweak of my air vent every now and then to make sure my temperature is sitting. All right, so what am I live streaming with today? Baron's asking. So I am on my Panasonic GH5. And I have it just on a little mini tripod here, just sitting on this table that I'm at. And I'm running HDMI directly out of that through an Elgato Cam Link. I can put a link down in the description below after this is over to the Elgato Cam Link, or you can go to my Amazon affiliate gear page. There is a link to that already down below, and you can click on my live streaming setup and you'll see the Cam Link in there. It is by far the easiest way to get an HDMI signal into a computer. So I'm running out of that into this, and for audio is coming over HDMI as well. The beauty of the Panasonic GH5 is that it has that XLR1 adapter. So on top of it right now, I have the XLR1 adapter and I have a Sony wireless mic plugged into that. So I'm lobbed up wirelessly so I can walk around, and it's going to that. So both the video and the audio are coming in over HDMI into this MacBook Pro laptop, and I'm running everything as I usually do through OBS. OBS has been acting a little funky on me lately, so I had to sort out some hiccups and whatnot. I'm not sure what's causing it, but it seems to be working pretty good right now. And you know, besides that little glitch with the sizing of the chat, for whatever reason, every time I go to that chat, it seems to blow it up huge, and then I just have to like open properties, not even change anything, but then just click OK, and it goes back to its normal size. But yeah, so Panasonic GH5, if you're interested in the lens, I'm using the 12-35 Lumix version 2, and I do have a Tiffin variable ND filter on there right now, because it is very bright out here. So I have the ND filter set to almost max, and then I have the camera set to shutter priority, so it's holding 180-degree shutter, and I have so it's able to change the ISO and the aperture to match. But the ND, what that allows me to do is I have it cranked up to the max, almost the max, which means that the camera has a lot more flexibility in terms of where to adjust, because you know, if the camera can't make it darker, if it stops all the way down to f/22, then you're stuck. You know, it can't get it any darker than that. And earlier I was getting some overexposure. So I threw that ND filter on there, and it's giving the camera a lot more range to work with. So it's probably hovering around like f8 or something like that as it goes in and out, because we did have some clouds. It's actually pretty clear and blue right now. It's actually gorgeous out right now. It is a little chilly, but it's nice. But Baron says, same setup as you. Nice, rocking that GH5 for live streaming, and says looks and sounds great. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that, because in addition to getting that turkey up and going, I also had to make sure that I could get this live stream set up outside. So let me take a peek. Now I'm getting a little bit low on my turkey. Looks like my coals might be losing some of their juice there. So I'll tell you what, guys, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna toss a few coals on there and come back to you guys. But like I said, guys, we're just here, just hanging out. So if you have any questions about anything, you know, my live streaming setup, any of that other stuff, camera gear, stuff that's coming out, whatever you want, feel free to ask it, and we're gonna hang out and talk about it today. Bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna go add a little bit of fuel to my fire. Traditionally, when I smoke stuff, I don't have to maintain it quite as much, especially that ceramic cooker back there. Man, you can leave that thing all night and it'll just sit. But this guy, I've had it for years. It's pretty cheap. It's thin metal. You know, it's like a couple $100. So it does take a little bit of maintaining, and it does burn up a bit more fuel than you really should, but it's just because it's cheap and it's not super heat sealed. So I'm gonna go take care of that real quick. Simon says, send the sun up here. Oh, sorry, man, it's a gorgeous day down here. I don't know what to tell you. It came out of nowhere. It was snowing, not yesterday, day before yesterday, it was snowing and wintry mix and sleet and nasty. And today it's gorgeous. All right, let's see here. I'll show you guys this this whole setup that I've got going on in just a few minutes. I just want to get my my fire a little bit more under control. Maybe I'll toss a little bit of wood in there. But yeah, I'll show you guys my whole setup, how I'm controlling all of this, and how we're making it work. And right now I'm just gonna pop into my fire. Oh yeah, it's getting a little low there. Ooh, it's hot, burning my knuckle hairs off. It doesn't take much, just adding a few coals and a few chunks of wood that'll get that temp back up and keep it riding for a little bit. And let's give those buddies a little bit more airflow. All right, coming back. All right, so like I said, guys, if anybody pops in there and is hanging out and has any questions about anything, I'm really just here to hang out and chill. Like I said, I've already been out here for 2+ hours maintaining that guy back there, and I'm going to be out here probably about 2 more. Let me see where my temperatures are at. Maybe not. I got about 30 degrees to go on my smoke there. Trevor says, I'm surprised you haven't gone for deep fried turkey yet. Trevor, good to see you. Yeah, I've thought about deep fried turkey. I'm not really set up for it, meaning I don't have a big old, pot to, fill with oil and get it frying up. I've had them before, they're good, but I prefer smoked. And I prefer the process of smoking. One of the best things is that, when you smoke something, you tune everything else out. You just kind of hang out and relax because it takes time. There's no rushing it. There's no hurrying it up. So, you just let it do its thing and just wait it out, and as those temperatures slowly climb. So I like not only the process of smoking, but I also think, at least with turkeys, I prefer the taste of the end result. I've been fine-tuning my recipe and process for smoking the turkey, so it's evolved over the years. So the first year we did it, I found this amazing recipe that I used just straight word for word, ingredient for ingredient. And to be honest, it ended up where the skin was just too salty. And so we, I decided, I was like, that doesn't really work, but I knew I had this other rub that wasn't nearly as salty, is more herbs and spices. And I was like, that works really well on poultry. Let's do the turkey with that. So last year we did everything the same with the recipe, the brine, the injection, all of that, but we ditched the rub and I subbed in a different rub, and it was a big hit. So this year we're doing that again, but I've changed something in my cooking process. I know this is blasphemy, I usually use charcoal briquettes. Not match light, of course, no lighter fluid anywhere in this process, but I use charcoal briquettes to get everything going, and then just wood chunks to keep it going. This year instead, what I'm doing is I'm using lump charcoal. So natural lump charcoal, got it started in a chimney, again, no lighter fluid or anything like that. And that's what I've been using in there because it burns a lot longer. It seems to hold the heat better, and I don't have nearly as much ash coming out of it and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, temperature's getting a little bit low. That's because I opened it up and that new stuff needs to get fired up. But let's see what we got here. Trevor says the only thing you need for a deep fried turkey is a big pot of oil and a fireman on standby. Yeah, that's another thing. That's one of the most dangerous ways to cook a turkey, because people don't realize that if your turkey isn't dry and completely thawed, because that's basically what happens is people do it when the turkey's still slightly frozen, and you dunk it in there, and basically what it does is it not only instantly melts the ice that's still inside of it, but then renders it into steam. And what the steam does is it turns the oil into like an aerosol. It aerosolizes the oil, so it's just thin particles in the air. So if one little bit of that catches the flame of what you're using to heat it, boom, the whole thing goes up. I know Mythbusters did a show about it a long, long time ago showing it, but yeah, it's scary stuff. You got to be really, really careful. I mean, it's safe if you do it appropriately, warm it up, dry it out, you know, make sure you don't have a ton of excess water to, you know, turn into steam and aerosolize that, that oil. But yeah, you know, there's no chance of my smoker blowing up, I'll tell you that. So, all right, let's see what we got here. I wish you could find rotisseries big enough for them. Yeah, for turkeys, yeah, you can do chickens, but turkeys are big. And like I said, this guy's huge, man. 18 3/4 pounds. Okay, my temp's starting to come up. Looks like that stuff is starting to catch, that stuff I put on there. Let me see. Now, I know you can't see like big billowy smoke coming out of it. And actually, that's not what you want. You don't want that big, thick, nasty, billowy smoke, because what it does is it leaves a lot of like soot deposits on your meat. And so the past few years, my meats have actually come out a little bit dark. Not just because of that, but you want what sort of like clear blue smoke. It almost looks like just heat coming off, but there is smoke because you're cooking with wood. But that's what you want. So while it may be more satisfying to see big clouds of billowy smoke coming out, that's not actually what you want while smoking. Let's see what we got here. Simon says, filling your stocking ahead of time. Whatever do you mean? Oh, and there's my wife. Yep, she gets to eat this turkey later on today. I know last year it was really funny. One of our friends who was going to be there for the Friendsgiving watched the live stream and was sitting there commenting about how cool it was to sit there and basically watch his dinner be like live stream cooked, which was true. You know, the filmmaking stuff wasn't really for him, kind of went past, but he got to see his turkey going. Let me see where my temp's at. Maybe I can show you guys what I've got going on if it's safe. We're still a little bit on the low end of the spectrum, doing pretty good. So what's really great, I know I'm talking more like turkey and barbecue than filmmaking, but you know, if you guys have any filmmaking questions along the way, please let me know. But what's really hard is that with turkeys and all poultry, you know, there's the light meat and then there's the dark meat. And what happens is you got to cook the whole thing like as a whole all together under the same temperature. But the problem is that the white meat will dry out so much faster. And your dark meat needs to cook longer. You want them to get to the same temperatures, but they'll usually get there at different times. One of the benefits of this thing is that it is so much hotter at this end right here than it is, at this end over here. So most people would consider that to be a kind of crappy smoker. You know, it's not even heat across it. But I make use of it because I know how it works. And so I turn the turkey so that the breast meat, the white meat, is down at this end where it's a bit cooler, and the dark meat is right about here. And then this is all just empty, so nothing's getting super torched as the heat comes up out of here. But it means that the dark meat gets a little bit more heat than the light meat. And that means they cook, you know, in the same smoker, but they arrive at their temperatures roughly the same time. And right now I've got them within 5 degrees of each other, which is pretty freaking awesome. Okay, this fire needs some stoking here. So I'm gonna go take care of that. Let me see what we got here. Simon's talking about lump charcoal, the way to go. Trevor says, what about breaking the turkey down and putting in something like a master built? Not as satisfying. Yeah, I don't wanna chop it apart. You know, I wanna cook the whole bird. Jessica says, my wife says, I'm surprised you didn't use the Big Green Egg. Well, it's a Big Green Egg knockoff, baby. We know that. It's the Snap-Off brand, but it is a heck of a ceramic cooker, and actually the turkey is too big for it. So I would have loved to have used it, but it's too big. So she had to go on the big old barrel cooker. All right, so we're down about 250, so I need to bring her up a little bit. Let me see what we got here. We got some filmmaking questions coming in. Awesome. Hold tight just 1 second, guys. I'll make this quick. I'm going to add a little bit more fuel, a little bit more air, and mix that fire up, and then we'll come sit down. I see Kevin Jordan has a question. I'm not gonna leave you hanging for too long. Give me just a moment here. So this is the whole thing with doing this. Where is my tool? Here we go. It's the whole thing with doing this is you just want to babysit your fire and make small little incremental changes. So I don't have a ton in here. We're getting a little bit of ash buildup. Whew. Even just that bit. So yeah, I'm gonna add some more lump coals in here. That's the other great thing about the lump coals is they don't generate nearly as much ash as the briquettes. So you don't end up with a big pile of ash below your coals that starts plugging up your airflow. I've been going for several hours now, and it's actually been it's actually looking pretty good. Let's get some more of those guys in here. I wish I could find some bigger chunks. Maybe the bigger chunks got towards the bottom. These are all kind of crumbles. But like I said, these maintain the heat really, really well. Oop, as I drop one. So I'm gonna add just a wee bit. And just grabbing a few chunks of actual hickory wood, just because I want to make sure. And I'm not putting these directly on the fire. I'm kind of putting them off to the side so that they'll slowly catch and get going, because I don't want like a giant flare up. But that should do us for now. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get back in here. All right, so that should be good for now. So let's see here. Kevin said, hey Bart, have you ever tried any of the cheaper 120D style lights in the $150 to $300 range? The brands I see on B&H are Godox and Studio Essentials. I wonder how much of a compromise they are. I have not personally tried those. I have both the 120D, the original version, now there's a Mark II out there, and the 300D. And I've been very, very happy with them. But yeah, I know that, you know, obviously they're not the only hard source, you know, single source LED light out there. There have been a few others. The name is escaping me, but there were some other ones. But I'd have to take a look and see what their specs are, one for output and two for CRI and TLCI, so the quality of the light. Because usually that's where you start seeing corners being cut a little bit, you know, especially if you're getting down into the, you know, $150, $300 range. You might be not getting as high of a CRI, you might be getting a little bit of a color cast, you know, you might get a little magenta or something like that. Of course, you can use gels to cut that out and correct it. It's just, you know, it's nicer to have a true clean light source from the start. And the apertures are pretty good at that. They're always about 95 or above. But yeah, I haven't tested them necessarily, or did I? What did we use? I cannot remember what the brand was, but I just remembered in our test that I did of the 120D when it first came out. I'll put a link down in the description below. I'll try to remember to get that in there. But we did a test and we did use another similar LED light, and it had a real crazy magenta cast to it. So without testing or trying out any of those other brands, I can't say for sure. You know, maybe some are just as good. Maybe you're sacrificing output. Then again, maybe you don't need that crazy output. So yeah, 260. So yeah, I haven't tried the Godox. I haven't tried the Studio Essentials. So I'd have to do a little bit of research and check them out. But I mean, the apertures, the 120s are, what are they, like just shy of 700 bucks? Yeah, I guess they are pretty expensive. So you gotta weigh it, you know, is it worth saving $400 and getting a light that is gonna cause you problems and make your image not look as good? Or is it something you can easily fix? You know, could you throw a, you know, a plus green gel on there and completely correct the color cast out? It's up to you, but I haven't tried any. Let's see here. Trevor says there's no way you could get a turkey into the big green egg unless you fancy people have the gigantic one. Costs a fortune. No, we do not have the gigantic big green egg, Trevor, and we actually don't have a true big green egg. I'll show you what we've got, which is still freaking awesome because it's a ceramic cooker. So I can show you guys this up closer in detail a little later, but this is a ceramic cooker, basically just like a big green egg, except it's just not Big Green Egg brand. It is Snap-on branded, and it works fantastic. My father-in-law used to be a Snap-on tool dealer. He just retired recently, so he gifted this to us, and this thing has been awesome. I do pork butts on it and all sorts of stuff. And you have to add so little fuel to it, and it'll just sit and ride forever, which is awesome. But yeah, this one is equivalent to almost like the medium-sized Big Green Egg. So it wouldn't hold, it'll hold a pork butt, but it wasn't gonna hold this giant turkey that we got here. I'm gonna check my temperature on here. All right, we are in the range, 284. I like that. I just gotta keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't start getting out of control. Oh, my puppy heard something. He's floating around there. But Kevin, I do want to try to see as more and more companies are getting more advanced in their LED technology. I do want to check that out. Oh, who's coming into my backyard? Oh, we got the wind going up too. My puppy is the worst guard dog ever. He just lets whoever comes in here. Who dat? Oh, it's my wife. Hello, Jessie.
Hi.
Welcome. You're home kind of early, aren't you? The puppy is hopping all over her. He's so happy to see her. What, I wasn't good enough? I've been taking care of you for hours, little man. You want to say?
Hi.
There you go. There you go, everybody.
Indy, did you want to say hi?
Indy's been on the show before, but I think this might be your first time. He was, yeah, we had an episode when he was just a puppy. When I could set him on the desk.
I remember.
He won't fit on the desk anymore. He's huge. Oh, we're getting a little, oh, we're getting hot. All right, guys, hang on. I had a feeling that we'd get a little flare up there. I'm gonna close the air just a little bit. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. That's what we're here for, just hanging out today. Thanks. My wife is whistling at my butt as I bend over for to adjust the airflow. But what I was saying before I lost my train of thought completely. Thank you, baby. With more and more companies getting into LED tech, these ones that we always called like cheap, Chinese brands. Well, the tech is getting good so that even the cheaper stuff is still pretty decent quality. Like the quality to the price is shifting. So, brands that you might not have trusted like even 2 years ago might now be putting out some pretty good tech. Came TV, I know, was one that, pardon me, always seemed a little kind of cheap and sketchy and all that. But from what I've seen, they've been putting out some really good stuff in terms of LED lighting. And so I'd love to start getting my hands, get rid of that mentality where I was like, oh, this is a cheap brand, this is a cheap brand. Well, now go and revisit some of these quote unquote cheap brands and see what kind of stuff they're able to put out, because the technology is becoming so much more affordable for high quality stuff. So, you can't pigeonhole a brand based on where they were even just a year or two ago. So it'd be interesting to start revisiting and checking out some of those. Even Aperture, which is so big now, and we know that they're high quality. Aperture started as one of those Chinese companies that everybody was kind of like, a little bit wary of. But now they've been consistently putting out high quality stuff. And I think a lot of that is also the internal way that Aperture is run. But they've grown so quickly, and I think a lot of these other companies are doing the exact same. So I need to sort of erase my preconceived notions that I had a few years ago of some of these companies and start checking stuff out, because we're able to get almost HMI quality light for under $1,000 now. It was unheard of years ago. It's a cool time to be an indie level filmmaker, I'll tell you that. Let's see what we got here. Trevor's asking, do you know any people shooting with the new Pocket? Have you heard much feedback about it? It's been out for a while and most reviews are technical. He, of course, is referring to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. That was a camera that I got to preview at NAB and get my hands on it, and now, of course, it is released. It's out in the wild. I did not personally order it, not because I don't like it, but because right now my camera lineup kind of covers everything that I need. You know, I have my Blackmagic Ursa Mini for when I want to shoot, you know, that high bitrate ProRes and RAW. And then I have the GH5, which fits into that, you know, high bitrate 422 4K portable little handheld type thing. So the Pocket sort of is a blend between those two, and while I would be interested in picking one up in the future, I didn't hop on the pre-order for it because, like I said, all of my sort of niches are filled with cameras right now, and I didn't need it. So, but have I heard of anybody shooting with it? Nobody that I know personally, I don't think is shooting with it. So I haven't heard any feedback in terms of what it's like to actually use, to be on set with it. You're right, a lot of the reviews that we see out there are very technical things and image tests and stuff like that. But as for how it actually works, actually, you know what? I'm lying. It's not somebody that I know personally, but he just popped into the chat. Furworks or Fearworks, I don't know, I never checked that, is in the chat right now. I saw him just pop in. He has a Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, and he has shared a little bit of feedback. I know I've seen it in our Discord chat and all that kind of stuff as to what he thinks of it. So yeah, Furworks, if you want to pop in there and answer, you know, give everybody just a quick like rundown of what your experience has been like so far with that camera. I think you were the only person that I have sort of semi-personal connection with through the Discord server that has experience with that camera. And also, welcome and thank you for joining the chat there. It was fortuitous that you joined just at that time. It says it's fur like a fir tree, good, or fur like my house is covered in husky fur. Got it. There we go. Yeah, we've only ever seen it in text. What are you doing over here? My wife's over here snapping photos at me.
I'm like fangirling and taking photos of you.
Are you my groupie snapping photos behind there? Oh yeah, but yeah, so I haven't tried the Pocket 4K. I haven't bought one. You know, I might be interested in it. I think it would be a great B cam to my Ursa Mini. It's really, really affordable at $1,300, but we've had so much other stuff that we've had to do around the house here that, you know, it just wasn't a priority. Let me see where we're at here. Yeah, looking pretty good. I like it. But yeah, certainly a freaking amazing camera. For that price, that's crazy. But anyway, guys, while my dogs are over there playing with my wife, I'm going to give you guys a real quick close-up look at what we've got going on over here with the smoker, with the turkey. The reason I kind of held off on it is because I have this crazy extension cords, HDMI cables set up here, but I did plan on being able to move this camera and show you guys that setup over there. So we'll go do that in just a second. Let me see here. Furwork says, not a pro though like me. Oh, thank you. It's so far been a lot of fun to shoot with. The ProRes is obviously nice to edit with, as you'd expect, and the Cinema DNG is a pain, as you'd expect. So there you go. There's a quick overview of what it's like to shoot with that camera. But that's like shooting with any of the Blackmagic cameras. But yeah, Trevor says a lot of people seem to be shooting it run and gun, but it looks to me like the real sweet spot is to get that thing on sticks, kit it out, and plan your shots. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to substitute it as a B cam on my Edelkrone motion kit. I've been using the GH5 for that. I shot some amazing interviews where I get that nice parallax motion shot with the GH5, but then I have to color match it to my Ursa, which is the A cam. So I think it'd be nice to try replacing the GH5 in that setup with the Pocket Cinema camera, because obviously it has no stabilization and stuff, so you know you're not going to be able to take it off and go handheld run and gun as well as you could with the GH5, but I think it'd be cool in that setup. And And let's see here, Furworks. Looking forward to the Blackmagic Raw update to split the difference there. As for rigging it out, really needs a cage because it has almost no attachment points. Yeah, Blackmagic Raw, if you guys don't know about that, if you haven't kept up to date on it, I did a show about it and my thoughts about it. I have not personally used it because it hasn't come out for the Ursa Mini 4.6 that I have. They've only done it for the Pro. I've emailed them about that and have been like, why are you guys leaving the 4.6 behind? I don't like this. But I'll put a link down in the description down below, guys, so that you can check out my thoughts on Blackmagic Raw. Spoiler, I think it's gonna be huge. I just wanna be able to get onto it. So let me see what our temp is at, and let's go take a peek over at the smoker. Yep, we're just over 300 degrees, so we're good to take a quick peek and not lose too much heat. So bear with me, guys. If you get motion sick, I'll try and make this as stable as possible, but I'm gonna pick that camera up, walk around, and we're gonna go over and check out the smoker. So here, let's go take a peek. All right, so I have sort of an organized mess of cables back over here. Oh, and I can pick this guy up. Just trying to make sure nothing gets tugged out. Well, here you go, guys. Here you can see our yard. Getting a little bit of flaring from the ND filter. There's my wife out there playing with the two dogs. There's the shed that I built. Still needs to be painted, but it is built. It is awesome. But anyway, enough about my yard. Let's head over to the smoker here. Make sure my cables can follow behind me. Yeah, look at this, guys. See, I've got like a tether of power and everything there. But anyway, so here is the smoker, guys. Let's see how much range I can get. So here's the smoker. It's got the offset firebox here. Let me make sure I got focus. So that's where you build your fire. And then we've got the turkey going on in here. This is that iGrill smoker, or the iGrill thermometer I was telling you guys about, that transmits to my phone. Let me see what temp we're at. We're at about 291. But yeah, so quick peek in here, guys. There you go. Might be a little bit dark, but you can see it's just lumped charcoal and wood just slowly burning there. And then let's take a look at the turkey just real quick. I tented it because I don't want it to get too dark, but if we take a quick peek, get my shadow out of the way, there is our turkey. So let's go ahead and re-tent her and close this up before we let too much heat out. Because as they say, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. So now I gotta get all this back into place. All right, let's set this guy back down. Does that kind of look like the frame that I had? Yeah, sure. All right, I'm gonna come back into it. Sorry guys, I realized I left the chat window up, so hopefully that wasn't covering too much of what you wanted to see. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think that was a successful mission, taking the camera over there with my giant tethers and everything. All right, so we've got some more talk here about the Pocket 4K, which is good. I'm glad I could get Furworks into the mix there, and you guys can do a little Q&A there. But let's see here. Trevor's talking about he doesn't mind working with Cinema DNG. It's a complete mess though compared to other formats. Yeah. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar with what he's talking about, Cinema DNG is one of those raw video formats. Most famously known for, I guess, it's in the Blackmagic cameras. It's in a lot of other cameras too. But what it is it's basically an image sequence. It's a whole bunch of raw photos or frames. And then you have to, you know, interpret that into an actual video file or image sequence, and it can be a real pain in the butt to work with workflow-wise. I mean, it's basically just capturing, you know, 30 or 24 raw photos per second. So that's what it is. Let me see what our temp's at. Yep, we're good. It keeps vibrating on my watch because the app works with my watch as well. So that's why I keep checking it, because it taps me and it's like, hey, check it. So I take a peek at it. So let's see here. Trevor says, there's no reason they shouldn't give that to the 4.6K folks. Not cool. So he's talking about Blackmagic Raw. not only Blackmagic Raw, but there was a recent update, you know, firmware 6.0 that just came out and adds all these features like better frame guides and all sorts of stuff. And once again, it only applies to the Ursa Mini Pro. Now, we were told when the Pro came out that it is processing-wise and sensor-wise and everything. What are you doing? It is identical to the 4.6. The only thing is the ND filter and all that stuff. Oh, she's luring the puppy with food. But the processing, the sensor, all that stuff was supposed to be identical. The only real internal addition was that the Pro had a Bluetooth chip. You know, so you would think that these small software updates like frame guides should be available for both cameras, but so far they've really neglected the 4.6K in the past like 3 or 4 updates. And I did email them about it, and of course got a very bureaucratic answer of like, oh, you know, we're working on it and stuff will come when it's ready, but no guarantees, you know. So, but anyway, let's see here. Trevor says, did your firebox seriously eat through its own coating? Dang, man. Yeah, so you saw that on top of it, basically all of that, like the coating, the paint, you know, that they have on it has basically burned through at the top. Let's see, you can kind of see it. It's too hard over here, like up top, it's kind of like rusty looking and stuff. And yeah, that's because over time with all the heat that's in there, it has sort of flaked off and come apart. And like I said, it's maybe like a $300 smoker. It's thin, it's cheap, and it's held up for years and years and years actually for us. I keep it covered, we take good care of it, but yeah, that's the sign of a cheaper smoker, if you will. All right, temperature still looking good. Let's see here. Furwix is saying, I've shot a few episodes with the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. Okay, so he's talking more about the 4K. Yeah, Furworks has actually been doing some live streams with the 4K, the Pocket 4K, and has been sharing some of that discussion over on Discord. So let me go ahead and say that, guys. One of the things that I've been doing, and I know there's a few people who are members of it, I totally stole this from Caleb over at DSLR Video Shooter, but I started a Discord chat server. And what Discord is it's basically like a private hangout chat room, if you will, so that we can communicate kind of 24/7. So even when I'm not doing these live shows, you know, you'll be able to communicate with me, share stuff, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. I've been trying to keep posting like updates of all the stuff that I'm doing in terms of like when I'm traveling, because I've been traveling quite a bit. And so I try and do that in there. There is a link to my Discord down in the chat below, so feel free if you want to hang out and chat and just, you know, build a community, go ahead and get into that Discord server there, guys. So let's see here. Talking about Panasonic G7. I think I've actually had better luck when I use the Panasonic G7 for a multicam live stream. So yeah, Panasonic G7 is an amazing little camera. You know, not nearly as many features as GH5 and other cameras, G85, but they have been going on sale for like $500, like on and off. And so when I'm in my studio downstairs, my overhead shot is actually a Panasonic G7. And when I stream from inside my studio, that is also a Panasonic G7. They're so much better than any webcam. And for $500, when you can get it on sale with a lens, $500, it's a great little camera. Can shoot 4K. Obviously, I don't stream in 4K, but it's just a simple set it and forget it. I don't take them out and shoot anything else. They just stay mounted for the overhead and for my my in-studio or in-edit suite, you know, at my desk shot. And they're great cameras, especially if you find them on sale. I think usually they're closer to like $900 or yeah, but you get them for $500 and it's a steal. Talking about shooting in ProRes 422. Let's see here. White balance in RAW shouldn't be giving you issues. Okay, so talking about white balancing in RAW, more likely that Blackmagic just made changes to its color science. Yeah, okay, so Blackmagic just released their Color Science 4.0, and I believe it's in the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K already. It is available for the Ursa Mini Pro, but of course, not available for my Ursa Mini 4.6. Getting really tired of that. I don't want to upgrade to a Pro because it'd be a loss. Like, I would lose money. You know, the resale value on a 4.6 right now, I'm sure is, I don't know, what would you say, like $3,000? And then it's $5,000 or $6,000 to get the Pro. And so that's just, you know, I shouldn't have to spend that money to get something like a Color Science update. Yeah, looking at you, Blackmagic. I've already been sending them emails about it, but I'm like, come on. But yeah, I know we can't complain too much because, I mean, the cameras shoot RAW and ProRes and beautiful image quality for, you know, sub $10,000. You know, we don't have too much room to complain, but still, I'm going to complain. One of the updates that just came out in that version 6 firmware for them actually is and I'll put a link to the version 6 firmware down below, guys. I got to remember all these things that I've said I would link to, but I'll put a link down in the description to it for any of you guys who may be Ursa Mini people. But they've added another stop to the ISO range. So it used to be 200, 400, 800, 1600, and that was the highest you got, because they're sort of notoriously bad higher ISO cameras. But they've added to the Ursa Mini Pro an ISO 3200, and in theory they've actually cleaned up some of the lower ISOs, so you might get a little bit more low light performance out of it. I don't know, again, because that's not available for my camera, so I'll just have to wait and take everybody's word for it, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, guys, we're starting to get towards the 1 hour mark here, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off in a second. I'm going to open up my air vents real quick, add a little bit more air to my fire to make sure it keeps going. But I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me. This is always fun. It's a little bit nice to have a sort of more stress-free type scenario here. You know, where we're not really going over a topic or reviewing anything or anything like that, but we're just kind of hanging out and chatting. But I am going to go ahead and pack this thing up. My neighbor actually just texted me asking if I can help him unload his truck, so I might go over there and do that. But thank you very much, guys, for coming in, for hanging out. Obviously, next week here in the US is Thanksgiving on Thursday, and so I will be visiting family, and then immediately after on Friday, like every year, I have a job up in Boston that I have to fly up to, so we will not be having a live stream next week. I got a bug coming at me. So I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving if you are here in the US. Hopefully you guys can cook up a delicious turkey of your own, enjoy your family for as long as you can tolerate them, and just have a good one. I will be posting when we will go live next. I'm going to be in Boston for a little bit over a week. So I think the following Saturday after that I will be back and we should be able to go live. But make sure you're subscribed to me, make sure you click that notification bell, make sure you're in the Discord chat, and make sure you follow me on all social media. I'm Bart Johnson Productions on pretty much everything, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you'll be notified, and for sure you'll know that we are live and ready to go. Shiznuts, I just saw you come in. Of course you come in right at the very end. Sorry, man, I got a jet, gotta hop off. But thank you all very much for hanging out. Shiznuts, feel free to enjoy the replay. Everyone in the US, have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys in probably like 2 weeks for the next live stream, because I will once again be on the road. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you after this upcoming holiday.